Tensions between the U.S. and Iran are growing as the Islamic Revolutionary Guard is now on high alert amid an increase. Tensions between the U.S. and Iran are growing as the Islamic Revolutionary Guard is now on high alert amid an increasing American military presence in the Middle East. Iran says it's preparing its army as President Trump warns of potential U.S. military action unless Tehran comes to an agreement with Washington over its nuclear program. The move comes as satellite imagery revealed the USS Carl Vinson and its strike group entering the Indian Ocean through the Malacca Straits Monday. The move could signal an even more aggressive U.S. stance toward Iran. The USS Carl Vinson Strike Group, which includes the USS Princeton and the USS Starrett, will join the USS Harry Truman along with B-2 stealth bombers stationed at Diego Garcia in the Middle East. With these aircraft carriers and bombers, the U.S. is capable of air and missile strikes in the region, yet remains at a distance far enough to avoid counterattacks. The new deployments come as Donald Trump is reportedly weighing indirect nuclear talks with Iran as well as military strikes. Iran is rejecting direct negotiations but says it's open to indirect talks mediated by Oman under the condition the U.S. ease up on its military threats. Tehran is drawing a red line over any U.S. military action, warning a strike against Iran will have severe consequences. Iran's ally, Russia, has condemned U.S. threats. An Iranian official says Tehran is looking for more support from Moscow, but remains skeptical, acknowledging it greatly depends on the relationship between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. For more on this story, download the Straight Arrow News app or go to san.com.
All right, Shalom. I'm going to start the same call. Halayim Le Yehoah, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Harakak Wadash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great most on my elder here one as well. Salutations to the Akin of the pushing the truth and sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men and women of truth. And I believe in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right, I'm Kalak San by Yashar all from the lines of the Yashar out camp. And this is another Lines and News and Prophecy. And we're going to start it like this. Second Ezra 15:1, it says, speak, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. All right, so like this is somewhat of a continuation of the lesson I did yesterday, talking about how Russia gave warning, is giving warning to the United States about attacking Iran and messing with them about their whole their nuclear power program. See that? And we are witnessing like we are so close to the end that it's crazy. You know, people been saying. I know we sound like a broken record bringing out these scriptures over and over and over again, but like these things are gonna happen that we've been prophesying about. It don't matter if people want to be in awe and it be in disbelief. That disbelief is gonna be turned into awe once everything comes into full force. Right now we're seeing the beginning of them unfold, right? But once the heat of it comes out, then you know there was a prophet among you. Then everybody's gonna know their error from the way of truth. Then everybody's gonna understand the things that we're talking about were the words of Yahweh Shimon Shai, and they were faithful and true. All right. So we even though these scriptures come out over and over and over again, we still bring them out because we're doing the duty of Yahweh Shimon Shai. And that's it. All right, this is Habakkuk 2:1. It says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he shall say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord said unto me, write the vision to make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. Right. So that's what we do by putting these prophecies out. Spoken to us by Yahweh by Shimon Shai. It says, speak thou the words into the ears of my people, the words of prophecy which I shall put in our mouth. So the Lord is putting it in our mouth to say these things. Verse 3 says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Right. So if people get tired of hearing them over and over again, but it's for an appointed time, not their time. The Lord He's a God of patience and long suffering. You know what I'm saying? So people, right when people like they think they can live footloose and fancy free, that's when the Lord gonna rain down judgment on everybody. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." And that's the point, man. These things are gonna come to pass. All the things that we speak of in the sincerity and truth, given unto us by Yahweh by Shem Shai. All right. So this particular article says U.S. Iran tensions grow. Tehran's army on high alert. USS Carl Vinson deployed. Right. I just did a lesson last week speaking on how the United States has deployed six. Is it six? Yeah, six of their one third of six of their B-2 bombers that have nuclear capabilities over there, and so that puts their military on high alert. And guess who else is putting on high alert? Russia also. You know, there's a lesson, there's a video, an article that was speaking about there might be Chinese troops helping Russia and captured by Ukraine. I didn't read it yet, but I just seen it pop up, so I saved it for later. You know, put it in the group chat for the other Arkin just in case they want to do something on it. But you know what I'm saying? There's so many things popping off right now. Why is it happening? Because you have about Shemel Shai, but stirring it up to happen. All right, so here's a couple bullet points in the article. It says the United States deployed the USS Carl Vinson to the Middle East amid growing tensions with Iran. The move comes as Iran put its military on high alert following threats from President Donald Trump. Trump threatened potential military action if Iran does not reach a deal over its nuclear program with the United States. Iran has not agreed to direct talks with the U.S., but has indicated support for indirect negotiations under certain conditions. All right. So let's get into the story. It says tensions between the United States and Iran continue to grow as the Middle Eastern nation places its Islamic Revolutionary Guard on high alert due to the rising American military presence in the region. Iran announced that it's organizing its military as President Donald Trump cautioned about possible U.S. military strikes unless Tehran reaches an agreement with Washington regarding its nuclear program. All right, it says, what is the latest U.S. military move? It says the move comes as satellite imagery revealed the USS Carl Vinson and its airstrike group entered the Indian Ocean through the Malacca Straits on Monday, April 7th. It said the move could signal an even more aggressive U.S. stance towards Iran. It said what does it mean? The USS Carl Vinson Strike Group, which includes the USS Princeton and the USS Surratt, will join the USS Harry S. Truman and B-52 stealth bombers stationed at Diego Garcia in the Middle East. With these aircraft carriers and bombers, the United States could conduct air and missile strikes in the region, yet remain far enough away to avoid counterattacks. The new deployment comes as Trump is reportedly considering indirect nuclear talks with Iran, along with potential military strikes. How has Tehran responded? It says Iran rejected direct negotiations, but said it open to indirect talks mediated by Oman under the conditions that United States ease up the military threats. Tehran has drawn a red light over the U.S. military actions, warning a strike against Iran will have severe consequences. See, they're giving a warning, but he said as far as enemies, he puffed at them. So he's really trying to buck himself up. How does Russia fit into the picture? All right, this is the key thing right here. It says Iran's ally Russia has con condemned U.S. threats against Iran, and an Iranian official told Reuters that Tehran has looked for more support from Moscow. However, the Middle Eastern nation remains skeptical, recognizing that its heavy dependence on the relationship between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Trump. But I don't think he likes Trump like that though, for real. You know? So this thing is heating up. See, this thing is stirring up real good, man. Like like that's major right there for the United States to send an attack group into the Indian Ocean, and they set up in a warlike scenario, like an attack like scenario, where they can strike on them and they won't be able, you know what I'm saying, strike back. That's major right there, man. So we're so close to the end. All we need to do is see this place crash, which it is. Especially when China just said they have a retaliation uh of 100% on American goods as a retaliation to the tariffs that no 104% as a retaliation on the tariffs that America is talking about sending to China. And you got a couple of more countries that are nations that are banding up together to strike economical warfare against the United States, man. So we're so close to the end that we can taste it, man. We got to keep up the faith and keep our minds occupied on your how about Shimei Shai and these prophecies, man. Lord willing, this lesson to edify and serve the purpose for the hope elect, the ones who truly believe in the name of Yahweh Shimei Shai. With that, like say, Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Harakak Radash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone of my elder Herawan as well. Salutation to the argument of pushing the truth and sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Shimei Shai. Shalom.